There's a really interesting point. I remember you saying on the platform at the Munich Security Conference, not this year, the big J.D. Vance year, but last year.
You still buy Russian oil. Is that okay with your counterpart from the US? Everything is, your relationship is fine, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want?
Your question, do we have multiple options? Answer is yes. Is that a problem? Why should it be a problem? If I'm smart enough to have multiple options, you should be admiring me. You shouldn't be criticizing. Now, is that a problem for other people? I don't think so. I don't think so, certainly in this case and in that case, because look, we try to explain what are the different pulls and pressures which countries have. And it's very hard to have a unidimensional relationship. Now, again, different countries and different relationships have different histories. If I were to look, say, between the US and Germany, it is rooted, there's an alliance nature to it. There's a certain history on which that relationship is grounded. In our case, it's very different. So,
you were on the platform with Antony Blinken, which seems a long time ago. And you were saying, well, look, we're going to trade with Russia, to some extent, oil and some military support, and we'll trade with you. And he looked, meaning the US, and he looked startled at that. But that is the kind of flexibility you're talking about.
No, I don't think, to be fair to him, I don't think he was startled. I mean, by that time, we'd been doing it for some time.
Yes. Maybe not surprised, but still, I'm going to stick with startled for the directness of your position.
Look, we've always been very honest about it. We've been honest about it, and I must say, even in 2022, we had discussed it at some length with the American administration, and I say this to their credit. They were also quite understanding about it, because one issue which has been, in a sense, distorted, the whole energy trade. The fact is that after 2022, you did not want the Ukraine conflict to trigger a global energy crisis. We did not want to see global inflation, and which meant that somebody had to buy Russian oil. If the oil markets had to be kept at a reasonable price. So I think there was an understanding about the need for that, and in fact I remind people, that was one of the reasons why there was a very conscious decision not to mix that trade with sanctions. So I think people have been very sober and very I would say sensible about insulating the global economy from that particular aspect. So we've been very honest about it, because I would rather tell our partners and the rest of the world up front what we are doing. I see no reason why we should be less than direct in any way. I don't want you to even inadvertently give the impression that we are purely and unsentimentally transactional. We are not. We get along with people, we believe in things, we share things, we agree on some things, but there are times when when you're located in different places, have different levels of development, different experiences. All of that gets into it. So life is complicated, life is differentiated, and I think it's very important today not to reduce the entire complexity of our world into very sweeping propositions. I think that era is today behind us. So I agree very much with what Tony said, which is good partners provide choices. Smart partners take some of those choices. But sometimes there will be choices on which you say, well, I think I'll pass up on that one.
What about the BRICS? What would India like the BRICS to be? Economic grouping? more ideological one? What's the value of it going to be?
Look, it's hard to put a label on it, and we all like putting labels. I mean, that's what we do for a profession. I mean, that's why you do what you do, and I do what I do. But some things are not so easily defined, and BRICS is one for this reason. I can't say that it's, I couldn't put an ideological label on it, in the sense, if you look at the BRICS members, even the original members, we are a very diverse group. We are an exception to the normal rules on which groups are formed. I mean, normally countries who are proximate geographically to each other or have some particular shared history or some kind of ethnic or linguistic commonality. This is normally the basis to create a group. Now, BRICS defies all those assumptions. So it's not like the Commonwealth, it's not like the NATO, it's not like the G7. It's not like anything which had been conceptualized earlier. The BRICS started in an era where Western dominance was very strong. The premier gathering of the world was the G7, and you had a number of significant powers in the world who felt that, well, they were not part of the G7, but maybe they also brought value to the table by sitting and discussing with others. So in a sense, you had a collection of these countries. It was originally 4. South Africa joined later, if you look at it, it's a very interesting group because it's geographically as disparate as it can be, yet it is bound by the fact that these discussions we've had over a decade and a half have been very useful for all of us. Now, like any product, you test it in the market at some point. We tested it last year and asked people, so how many of you want to join BRICS? And we got almost 30 countries who were willing to join BRICS. So clearly, if 30 countries saw value in it, there must be something good we've done. So I think it's important today to make a distinction between being non-West and anti-West. I would certainly characterize India as a country which is non-West, but which has an extremely strong relationship with Western countries, getting better by the day. Not everybody else necessarily in that grouping might qualify for that description, but the contribution the BRICS has made, if one looks at the G7 and how it evolved into the G20, I think in a way, those additional 13 members who came into its bigger grouping, 5 of them are BRICS members. The fact that there was another group which was meeting regularly and discussing and debating, I think certainly was an input into the expansion of the G7 into the G20. So I think we did a service to the world.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to really look at what brought BRICS countries together, it was a sense among very major powers that they were not getting their due place or due share of global conversations and decision making, and they would be better off if they came together and then, shall I say, sent a collective message. So that is how BRICS started, and since then I think clearly they must be doing something right if so many countries want to join BRICS, and so many countries actually have joined BRICS. So we've had an expansion from the original 4. South Africa joined, and then it has become a double-digit membership in Joburg in 23, and in 24 last year in Kazan we also added dialogue partners, the concept of dialogue partners. So the group has grown. Yes, we do discuss economic issues. We also discuss political issues. It's not like we don't. So I wouldn't straitjacket it. I wouldn't. As I said, it's hard to find a single adjective which would do BRICS justice.